I'm 78 years old, and I need to tell you something I wish someone had told me when you were standing where you are now. For most of my life, I believed being a good woman meant being agreeable, saying yes without hesitation. Yes to my husband, yes to my children, yes to my parents, yes to friends, yes to work. I believed love meant sacrifice. I believed strength meant endurance. I believed silence meant grace. And I was wrong about all of it. You see, I spent nearly 6 decades chasing perfection. The perfect wife, the perfect mother, the perfect daughter, the perfect employee. I tried to be everything everyone needed, all at once. And what did it give me in return? Exhaustion. And a life that looked full on the outside, but never truly felt like it belonged to me. Then, 7 years ago, everything cracked open. My husband died after 42 years of marriage. He was gone, and for the first time, I was alone. I wasn't afraid because I missed him, though I did. I was afraid because I realized I didn't know who I was without serving someone else. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what made me happy. And that realization terrified me more than anything truly. Let me take you back for a moment. When I was 21, I married for the first time. It was the early 70s, a time when expectations were clear and rarely questioned. Women were raised to believe that stability mattered more than fulfillment, that love meant compromise, and that ambition was something you quietly tucked away. My parents told me I was lucky. He had a steady job. He was kind enough. He would take care of me. And I believed them. I believed that choosing security was the same thing as choosing happiness. So I stepped into the role that was handed to me. I learned how to manage a household. I learned how to anticipate everyone else's needs before they spoke them. I learned how to be useful. I planned meals, balanced budgets, remembered birthdays, kept the peace. I became very good at making life easier for everyone around me. And for a long time, I told myself that was enough. I told myself that wanting more was ungrateful. I wasn't miserable. That's important to say. I laughed, I loved, I raised children I adored. There were moments of joy and pride, but beneath all of it, there was a quiet question that never left me alone. Is this all I am? Is this all I will ever be? Whenever that thought appeared, I pushed it away. There were lunches to pack, laundry to fold, problems to solve. I didn't have the luxury of reflection. So I stayed busy. Busy became my shield. In my 30s, I felt the first real pull toward something that belonged only to me. I wanted to study psychology. I was fascinated by people, by stories, by why we become who we become. I mentioned it once at dinner, half joking, half hopeful. The response was gentle but firm. It wasn't practical. The timing wasn't right. The family needed me. So I told myself I was being mature. I told myself there would be time later. Later became my favorite word. Years passed. Children grew. Responsibilities multiplied. Every time I thought about returning to school, there was another reason to postpone it. Someone needed help. Money was tight. The moment didn't feel right. And each time I chose patience, I lost a small piece of myself. Not dramatically, quietly, like a candle slowly burning down without anyone noticing the room growing darker. my 40s, I had become the person everyone relied on, the dependable one, the strong one, the one who never said no. People praised me for it. They called me generous, selfless, devoted, and I wore those words like medals. But at night, when the house was quiet, I felt empty. I didn't know how to rest. I didn't know what I wanted to do when no one was asking anything of me. That should have scared me. Instead, I ignored it. When my children left home, I expected relief, freedom, space to finally ask myself the questions I had been avoiding. But by then, I had forgotten how. My days were still structured around everyone else. I filled my calendar with obligations, volunteering, helping, supporting. If I stayed useful, I didn't have to face the silence. I didn't have to face myself. Then came the moment everything shifted. Not all at once, but undeniably. My marriage ended, not with anger or drama, but with absence. Loss has a way of stripping life down to its essentials. Suddenly, there was no one left to organize my life around. No one left to serve. And for the first time, I was confronted with a terrifying truth. I had no idea who I was when I wasn't needed. I looked back at decades of my life and realized how often I had postponed myself, how often I had believed my turn would come later. Later after the kids were older. Later after things settled down. Later after everyone else was okay. But later never arrived. And that realization sat heavy in my chest. Because time, once gone, does not return. The months that followed were some of the hardest I have ever lived. Without roles to fill, I felt invisible. I woke up with no clear purpose, no schedule built around someone else's needs. I told myself I should be grateful for the freedom, but freedom felt unfamiliar, even frightening. I had spent my entire adult life being defined by what I gave. Without that, I felt unanchored. One afternoon, while sorting through old boxes, I found journals I had kept when I was young. I barely recognized the handwriting, but I recognized the voice. Curious, ambitious, alive. That woman had dreams, opinions, plans. She wanted to learn, to travel, to explore ideas. I sat on the floor reading those pages and felt a grief deeper than any loss I had known. I hadn't lost her suddenly. I had abandoned her slowly. That was the moment I understood something no one had ever told me. Self-sacrifice, when it becomes a way of life, does not make you noble. It makes you disappear. We were taught that being good meant being smaller, quieter, more accommodating. We were taught that wanting more was selfish, and we believed it. We lived it. We passed it on without meaning to. I realized then that love built on resentment is not love at all. That giving without limits leaves nothing behind. That you cannot pour from an empty cup and expect to survive with joy. I had done everything right, according to the rules I was given, and yet I felt hollow. That wasn't failure. That was truth finally catching up with me. So I made a decision that terrified me. I chose myself, not dramatically, not perfectly. I enrolled in classes I had once dreamed about. I walked into rooms where I was the oldest by decades. I asked questions. I felt foolish and alive at the same time. I traveled alone. I sat in cafes with no one waiting for me. I learned how to enjoy my own company. The hardest lesson was learning to say no. No without explanation. No without apology. At first, people were surprised. Some were disappointed. But the world did not fall apart. And with every no, I felt a yes growing stronger inside me. A yes to my time. A yes to my energy. A yes to my life. Now, at 78, I finally understand who I am. Not someone's helper. Not someone's support system. Just a woman with interests, boundaries, and a voice. And yet, that clarity comes with sorrow. Because I know how many years I spent waiting for permission that was never coming. How many dreams I delayed out of fear, duty, and habit. That is why I am telling you this. Do not wait. Do not believe there will be a perfect time. There will always be another responsibility, another reason to postpone yourself. Your life is not a rehearsal. It is happening now. You can love others deeply and still choose yourself. You can be kind without disappearing. You can be responsible without abandoning your dreams. I look at women today, and I see the same patterns repeating. The same hesitation, the same guilt, and I want to say what no one said to me. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to want more. You are allowed to build a life that feels like yours. Do not learn this lesson too late. Choose yourself while time is still on your side. I'm 78 years old, and I've only truly been living for myself for the last few years. Just a handful of years out of an entire lifetime. And those years have changed everything. I'm calmer now than I ever was when I was younger. I know myself better. I trust myself more. I feel lighter. For the first time, my life feels like it belongs to me. But if I'm being honest, I carry regret. I would give anything to reclaim the decades I spent waiting. Waiting to feel ready. Waiting for the right moment. Waiting for everyone else to be settled before I chose myself. I wish I had believed sooner that my needs mattered. I wish I had spoken up earlier. I wish I had stopped shrinking to make others comfortable. If you're listening to this now, hear me clearly. You still have time. More time than you realize. But only if you stop postponing your life. Only if you stop asking for permission that will never be offered. Only if you stop placing yourself at the very bottom of your own list. Your life is happening right now, not someday. Not when things slow down, not when everyone else is okay. Right now, what are you going to do with it? Will you choose yourself today? Or will you wake up one day, years from now, wishing you had? The choice is yours. But don't wait. Time moves forward whether you're ready or not. If these words speak to you, share them. Not for me, but for every woman who needs to hear them. For every woman who is waiting, doubting, hesitating. You don't need permission anymore. Take your life back. Start living.